Chapter 4044. Second More. Law of the Treasure Warframe? Lung Rushuang was startled, but he shook his head. Fu Jun, you have no rule of the treasure warrior. It's not as cold as frost. Different from you. Jian Wushuang already interrupted. I am a perfect life-level cultivator, with immense divine power, and once practiced the supreme immortal mystery, although it is only the third, but the body is still comparable the strongest treasure warframe, and once I reach the fourth level in the future, that body is enough to be comparable to the general low-quality treasure warframe, so for me, the general law treasure warframe is useless at all. But you are different. Although your current combat strength is good, your life-saving ability is not very strong. The universe is too dangerous. Although I will always be by your side, if there is a sudden danger, I may not be able to. It's too late to protect you, so your life-saving ability must be improved. The solemnity of Jian Wushuang. This is indeed the case. He and his wife are in the universe together. If he encounters danger, he is not worried, but he is only worried about his wife. After all, his cold life-saving ability is not as bad as his. I see. Lung Rushuang nodded, and no longer insisted. In fact, the master taught me a life-saving mystery, but the practice of that mystery was quite difficult, and I have only barely gotten started now. No, as for the ability to protect my body, I am indeed a little worse. Then, I'll go to Jodi Pavilion again, and choose a suitable rule for you. Jian Wushuang smiled. Immediately, the three went to Jodi Pavilion again, and the same person who received them was still the director of Bama. Supervisor Bama, I need an inferior level rule arcane warframe. Sword Wushu Angdao. No problem, this is the rule that I can take out immediately from the 9 Emperor Pavilion. The armor is all inferior. You can look at it. Bama immediately took out a list. Although it is a list, in fact there are only 4 rules of the arcane warframe. This is also normal. The Ziwei starfield is just a medium-sized starfield. The strongest person is only the 5th series dominator, and the general 5th series dominates, but it is difficult to afford the rule of treasure. The price is really expensive. Jian Wushuang looked at the price of the 4 rules on the list. These 4 rules are precious treasures. Even the cheapest one is worth more than 1,200 cosmic source stones, and the most expensive sword is 1,800 source stones. You know, Jian Wushuang had killed Ju Shu at the beginning, and the soul defense type rule obtained was extremely precious. The estimated value of Jian Wushuang will not exceed 2,000 source stones. The arcane warframe of this rule is slightly worse than the arcane soul defense. The price of the arcana warframe is much more expensive than that of attacking the arcana. Generally, it is calculated 10 times. Some of the lower quality rules are more effective. The value of the arcana warframe is not even weaker than the average medium. The law of product attack is precious. Bama said. If you want to buy it, buy the best one. This Heart Jade Emperor blood armor, I want it. Jian Wushuang said directly. Fu Jun Lung Rushuang glanced at Jian Wushuang. Heart Jade Emperor's blood armor is the most expensive one on the list of the arcane warframe, worth 1,800 source stones. This is the source stone. Jian Wushuang took out a Chenkuan ring directly, and there were exactly 1,800 source stones in it. After Bama took it, his consciousness was simply swept away, and he nodded, and said, wait a minute, I'll have someone send this armor immediately. Jian Wushuang was not in a hurry, just waiting here, and halfway through, Jian Wushuang suddenly asked, Director Bama, I just want to ask you something. Bloodsword little friend, please say. Bama was still so enthusiastic. I know that the power of your 9 Emperor Pavilion is everywhere in the universe. The universe passageway in the 9 Emperor Pavilion should be very comprehensive, right? Jian Wushuang asked. Cosmic passage? Barrow raised his eyebrows, followed by a smile. It is very comprehensive. If my Jodi Pavilion is willing, I can easily reach the core territory of the universe from the edge of the universe, but it's just such a long-distance transmission. The cost is not small. For the General Master, it is definitely an astronomical figure. I don't want to reach the core territory of the universe directly from here. I just want to go to the Joyao starfield. I wonder if there is a direct access to the universe in the Zhojian Pavilion? Jian Wushuang asked. Joyao Great Starfield? Barma's mind immediately had a starfield map of Joyao Large Starfield, but followed by Barma, he smiled. Joyao Large Starfield, it is really not the core territory of the universe. The purple starfield that we are now in is not too far away. Naturally, there is a cosmic passage in my 9 Emperors Pavilion that leads directly to the large starfield of Joyao, but you may not be able to use this blood channel, little friend. Why? Jian Wushuang frowned. Bloodsword boy, you may not know one thing. Although the cosmic channels of my 9 Emperors Pavilions are spread all over the corner of the universe, these channels for long-distance universe transmission are not open to the public. Barma Road, not to the outside world. Jian Wushuang stunned. Yeah, don't talk about your friends, even if I belong to His Majesty's Pavilion, or a director of this Ziwei Star Domain, I have some permissions, but let's not even say that, in Judy Pavilion, I have permissions. The adults who are 1 or 2 levels higher than me are not qualified to use the long-distance cosmic passages of my 9 Emperors Pavilion. Only those core strong men in my 9 Emperors Pavilion are really eligible to use these cosmic passages. Almost the core powers are supreme, Barma said. Upon hearing this, Jian Wushuang understood immediately. Even Barma, and even the strongest emperor of the 9 Emperor Pavilion, whose authority is 1 or 2 levels higher than that of Barma, are not qualified to use those long-distance cosmic channels. What permissions do they have? Bloodsword friend, after all, you are a genius. Strong in the list of 9 emperors is my friend of Jodi Pavilion. If you really need it, you can use those cosmic channels, but you only need the price paid is very high, Barma said again. How much will it cost me to go directly from the Ziwei Starfield to the Joyao Starfield? Jian Wushuang asked immediately. I don't know the specific amount, but conservative estimates are that there are at least millions of cosmic source rocks. Barma said. Hearing this number, Jian Wushuang doubled his eyes, but there was no longer the thought of using such cosmic channels. Millions of cosmic source stones? What a joke! Now that all his net worth is added, he can only break through the source rocks of the universe, only a few %. It seems that it is impossible to directly lead to the Joyao Starfield, and we can only ride the spacecraft slowly. Jian Wushuang's heart was full of helplessness. Chapter 40-45. 3 more arrived today. After a while, someone inside the Jodi Pavilion took the heart jade blood armor over. The whole body's crystal armor looks like a layer of glass. Shuang'er, look at the refinement. Jian Wushuang said. Lung Rushuang nodded, and immediately began to refine the heart of the Jade Emperor blood armor. The rules of the lower grades are precious, and the conditions for refining are also quite harsh. The coldness is not weak now. Although it took some time, it also successfully refined the armor. After refining, the heart of the Jade Emperor's blood armor turned into a layer of blood-colored blue shirt and draped over the cold frosty body, making the already extremely cold and frosty, and a whole gorgeous temperament. How do you feel? Jian Wushuang asked. Very good, the armor of this warframe is very good, much stronger than the strongest general treasure, but the most powerful thing is the quadruple power that comes with this armor. Only the first power is enough to greatly increase my strength, and with my current strength, I can just urge this first power. Cold as frost. Oh! Jian Wushuang's eyes brightened. Generally, the arcane warframe does have its own power, but it is not easy to urge it. And the power of the rule of Arcana warframe, from the perspective of Jian Wushuang, should also be able to comprehend a trace of the law of the universe, but now it seems that this is not the case. The quadruple power in this warframe, the latter 3 all need to have a very high understanding of the laws of the universe, but the first one, but only need to have some contact with the laws of the universe, can be relatively simple to use the power of the laws contained in it. That's it. Although I didn't understand the laws of the universe, I have always been with your husband. I often see that you understand the laws of the universe and naturally have contact. So I just reached the threshold of triggering this first power. Frosty laughed. That's good. Jian Wushuang also smiled on his face. Soon, the 3 swordsmen continued to leave. Ride the cosmic boat, leave the purple starfield, and immediately enter the long and vast universe of void. Time is running, and in the blink of an eye, it is 18,000 years past. In this 18,000 years, Zhen Wushuang spent most of the time in the long universe, and occasionally when passing by some starfields, he would stay in those starfields for a while, and taste the starfields' food and specialties. It has to be said that Zhen Wushuang's insights have improved a lot when these starfields have come down. In the spacecraft, Zhen Wushuang and Frost were sitting there casually, and some brightly colored fruits were placed on the table. These fruits are obtained from the small starfield just passing by. Fu Jun, the people in the Thunder Dragon realm we just passed by are really enthusiastic. When we left, they also gave us so many fruits. These fruits are enough for us to eat for thousands of years. Lung Rushuang smiled. Passion. Zhen Wushuang touched his nose. He knew that apart from the enthusiasm of the other party, the main reason was that they showed too much strength and made the other party in awe, so they tried everything to please them. After all, for a small starfield, the strongest is not the fourth-ranking master, but when Zhen Wushuang arrived in that area, he had a dispute with a fourth-ranking master, and he directly controlled the fourth-ranking master with one move. Defeated, and then the fourth-ranked dominator was in awe of them. These fruits and everything were ordered by the fourth-ranking master to prepare. Although the universe is vast and magnificent, no matter where it is, strength is always paramount. As long as it is strong enough, it can easily suppress a piece of starfield. Those practitioners in the starfield are naturally scared and can only come to nod. Smiled. Although his current strength is still nothing in the vast universe, in the small or medium-sized starfield, it is definitely the top powerhouse, and it is absolutely awesome. Unfortunately, I have made a lot of progress in the laws of the universe and in Kendo in the 18,000 years, but in the rules of heaven and earth, the sixth rule has not yet merged. Zhen Wushuang sighed, and his heart was full helpless. Back in the early days of the divine realm, the dark rule of the sixth rule he had comprehended had already been merged with the other 5 rules in just one step, but these years have been until now, and for so long, there is no sign of complete integration. You know, he hasn't abandoned training in these years, and because he has mastered the relationship between the heaven and the will of God in the early days, he is very quick in both the rules of enlightenment and the rules of fusion. Like this 18,000 time period, the 7th rule he has learned has been fully understood, but the 6th rule has not been fully integrated. No way, the rules of the universe are easy to understand, but they can be merged, and the more difficult it is, the more I will master the heavenly will of the world in the beginning, the speed of the rules of enlightenment will be so fast. It takes a lot of time. Zhen Wushuang secretly said. Like the original Lord of the Clouds, the power surged after he lost the pre-God world, but his pace of progress stopped for a long time after reaching the 3rd level, and he finally managed to break through to reach the 1st place. The 4th series dominates. On talent understanding, Zhen Wushuang is definitely better than Demon Star, but he still has a short training time. Fu Jun, you don't need to worry. Although your realm hasn't improved, your strength has been improving. Now, if you burst out with all your strength, you are already close to the peak of the 5th level master, right? Lung Rushuang looked over. Seeing cold as frost, Zhen Wushuang smiled bitterly. In this 18,000 years, he failed to integrate the 6th rule, but it was colder than he was one step ahead. Now he has merged the 6 rules and become the 3rd level master. In the realm, he has completely taken the lead, has gone. The fusion of rules, especially at the level where I am now, can only wait slowly and rely on chance. Zhen Wushuang smiled, but you are right, although I failed to integrate the rules, but the strength, it is true that it has been progressing, especially in the laws of the universe. I have been improving in recent years. Now I do know what level of understanding of the laws of the universe has reached. Magic Flame, can you tell me if there is any way to let me know the specific level of my understanding of the laws of the universe? At least there must be something to refer to. Zhen Wushuang Dao. He really does not know how far he has reached the laws of the universe, but only knows that he is stronger than before. Chapter 40-46. The first is more. After 18,000 years, the magic flame has already refined and absorbed all the special crystals previously obtained, and its body has also recovered to about 40%. About 40% of the body, so that the realm of the magic flame has been restored to the extreme of the 4th rank, infinitely close to the 5th rank, and his combat power is undoubtedly the 5th rank, even in the 5th rank among them are the very strong ones. Hearing Jian Wushuang's inquiries, the magic flame continued, Master, in the vast universe, there are many ways to judge the degree of understanding of the laws of the universe, but the most convincing is the Sea of Laws. Sea of Laws? What is that? Is the law of the universe ocean? Jian Wushuang wondered. No. The magic flame shook his head. The Sea of Laws is actually a test of the perception of the laws of the universe. There are 33 layers of the Sea of Laws, corresponding to 33 different levels of the perception of the laws of the universe. This Sea of Laws was created by a hegemonic force at the core of the universe, and it was later widely used in the universe. Most of the top powerful people in the universe, like those supremes, their degree of understanding of the laws of the universe is based on this law. The sea is judged by the standard. Among them, the first layer of the rule of the sea requires a trace of the universe to be able to break through. As for the highest 33rd layer, it is said that it is already the extreme limit of the universe, which means that the entire universe is fully mastered, but such a super-existence, the entire universe is number one. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang said nothing. The law of the universe is the supreme law of the vast universe. Even the supreme strong, most of them can only be used to get started, and represents the 33rd layer of the sea that completely masters the entire universe of laws. Naturally, ordinary people can't break through. I am afraid that even if it is a top-level supreme, even an invincible supreme like Master Lingyun will not be able to break through. My current understanding of the laws of the universe is no longer just a trace of the original. If I go to the Sea of Laws, I should not only be able to penetrate the first layer, but how many layers can I go through? I have to try to flip it. Jian Wushuang secretly thought, but immediately raised his head. Magic flame, you just said that the sea has been widely used in the vast universe, then there should be rules in many places where the sea can go? It doesn't exist in many places. The magic flame said positively, the law of the universe, after all, is too high-end. Generally the most powerful are qualified to comprehend, only a few of the more evil masters are qualified to comprehend that. However, because the level is too high, the general small star field and medium star field do not use the law sea at all, so this law sea is only available in large star fields. Large star field? Jian Wushuang stunned. Large star fields, but there are first-level astral world, and there must be the ultimate level to dominate the town, even some of the stronger large star fields, even the supreme. However, in the vast universe, there are many small and medium-sized star fields. As for the large star fields, they are more common only in the depths of the universe. As for the marginal regions of the universe, although there are, they are rare. Like Jian Wushuang, they rushed all the way down. Although they passed many star fields, there were no large star fields. Fu Jun, if I remember correctly, we will continue to sweep forward, and after passing through 2 small star fields, we will reach a large star field, the bone pupil star field. Cold as frost. Jian Wushuang waved his hand, and a huge star map immediately appeared in the void in front of him. On the star map, Jian Wushuang quickly saw where the bone pupil star field was. Yes, the bone pupil star field is our only way to go, and it is not far from where we are now. If we take the spacecraft without delay, we can reach there for hundreds of years. Jian Wushuang's face a smile appeared. The star map has an introduction to the star field of the bone pupil. This bone pupil star field is indeed a large star field, and there are not only a first-level astral field in the bone pupil astral field, but 2 more. As for the second-level and third-level astrals, there are even more. Bone pupil star field, there are even 2 first-level astral circles. There must be a Sea of Laws in it. We go to the bone pupil star field first. Jian Wushuang smiled. Immediately, the cosmic boats were traveling through the cosmic void at the fastest speed. Only 300 years later, they reached the bone pupil star field. In the core area of the bone pupil star field, an island is quietly suspended in the void, and the island is peaceful. It stands to reason that since this island is in the core area of the bone pupil star field, there should be a lot of strong people in the past. In fact, this island is almost unattended in the bone pupil star field. Many powerful men in the bone pupil star field, although knowing the existence of this island, hardly come here. Above the island, it's whirling. It is an endless ocean. On the edge of this ocean, a brown-haired old man with his eyes slightly closed, sits there casually. The old brown-haired man has maintained the same posture on this island for more than hundreds of thousands of years. For hundreds of thousands of years, he has not moved the slightest. If he didn't know it, he would have thought he had died. Suddenly, the old man suddenly opened his eyes, exposing the slightly cloudy eyes. Someone coming? Sure enough, 3 people came galloping not far away, and soon came to the edge of the ocean. Come here, stop. The old man with the brown hair opened his mouth. Jian Wushuang's 3 figures stopped. Master, the Sea of Laws is in front of you. Although it looks the same as the ordinary ocean, in fact, you will find this Sea of Laws after you walk along this ocean. There is no cave. Moyen said. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly, and his gaze was at the brown-haired old man sitting casually below. Cool. Jian Wushuang's 3 figures fluttered down came to the old man with brown hair. Under the blood sword, my wife and one of my guards are by my side. We passed by here and heard that there is a Sea of Laws that can judge the degree of understanding of the laws of the universe. We have come to know 1 or 2. Jian Wushuang smiled. The Sea of Laws is not something anyone can see casually, but a certain understanding of the laws of the universe, but the 3 of you, the strongest, dominate the 4th level. I wonder who among you a hint of the law of the universe? The old brown-haired man looked at him lightly. It's me, Jian Wushuang said. Oh. The old brown-haired man looked at Jian Wushuang, but his heart rose with a hint of wonder. At a glance, he saw that Jian Wushuang was only dominated by the 2nd grade. A 2nd-order master can understand a trace of the law of the universe, which is rare in the universe. Chapter 40-47. Second more. Old Man Ghost Cloud is the caretaker of the Sea of Laws. The old man with brown hair said. The caretaker? Jian Wushuang wondered. Master, any law sea in the universe has a caretaker. As for the meaning of this caretaker, it is unknown, but it should be related to the top force behind the sea of creation law. Softly. The sword is unparalleled. The top force in the deep part of the universe creates the Sea of Laws, and spreads the Sea of Laws throughout the universe's major territories. It is impossible for the geniuses of the universe to break through without any purpose. If you want to break into the Sea of Laws, you must first show whether you really understand a trace of the law of the universe. After all, seeing is believing. The guardian Guiyun said. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded his head and immediately waved his hand, and the power of a cosmic law in the palm of the hand condensed instantly. Ghost Cloud's eyes suddenly lighted up. It really is the law of the universe. A 2nd-order master dominates, can understand a trace of the law of the universe. It is really amazing. Like this pupil, although it is a large star domain, dominates many, who can truly comprehend a trace of the law of the universe, but only one person, and that one still comprehends a trace of the law of the universe at the 4th level of domination. Jian Wushuang heard it. His expression was calm, but his heart was a little funny. You know, he realized a trace of the law of the universe at the level of the master of the rule, not the current 2nd level. Well, it proves that you have realized a trace of the law of the universe, that naturally you can go to the Sea of Laws. Ghost Cloud smiled slightly, but then beckoned toward the endless ocean ahead. Voila! The endless ocean frantically scrolls, and within the ocean, the power of the vast array of law rises. Go! Guiyun said. Jian Wushuang nodded his head, no longer hesitated, and swept away directly toward the Sea of Laws. Upon entering the Sea of Laws, Jian Wushuang's body disappeared in front of a few people as cold as frost. Obviously, Jian Wushuang had begun the first test of the Sea of Laws. Magic Flame, you know a lot about the law of the seas. How many layers can you penetrate with your husband's understanding of the laws of the universe? Lung Rushuang asked. Ma'am, although I once dominated the ultimate level, I didn't understand a trace of the law of the universe. I haven't really broken through it, but I have heard of the 33 levels of the law before, and every 3 levels is 1. On the steps, the Master's perception of the laws of the universe has improved greatly over the years. It should not be difficult to break through the first 3 layers. As for whether the 4th layer can break through, I do not know. Moyen said. It's not difficult to break through the first 3 floors. The ghost cloud nearby laughed at the words of the demon flame. You might as well look down on this sea of laws. Although the sea of laws has 33 layers, it is indeed a step every 3 layers, but between each layer the gap is still very large. Under normal circumstances, as long as you have a grasp of the rules of the universe, you can break through the first layer, but the second layer needs to have some understanding of the laws of the universe, and the third layer must at least truly enter the threshold of the laws of the universe. You are the master of the second-level talents in your family. I do think it's long since I first came into contact with the laws of the universe. It's okay to pass through the first layer, but I'm afraid it will be difficult. That's it. That may not be so. Moyen glanced at the ghost cloud. The frost was just a smile. Guiyun didn't know about Jian Wushuang. And when Jian Wushuang showed the law of the universe just now, he did show only a trace of the law of the universe. This made Guiyun think that Jian Wushuang's perception of the law of the universe was not high, so he said so. Kulungruo and Demon Flame had some understanding of sword warriors. Knowing that sword warriors had grasped a trace of the universe law at the main level of the rule. In recent years, because of mastering the relationship between the heavenly will and the will of God in the early days, the universe law has improved it is fast. They all know that Jian Wushuang entered the threshold of the laws of the universe long ago. Guiyun looked, he has already broken through the first floor and moved to the second floor. Jian Wushuang broke through the first floor, and Guiyun was not surprised. But shortly after Jian Wushuang broke through the first layer, Guiyun once again felt that Jian Wushuang had crossed the second layer. Break through the second floor? Guiyun's eyes were surprised. My master is much more powerful than I thought. Mo Yang glanced at the ghost cloud and chuckled. Perhaps, but the third floor, he should not be able to break through. Guiyun still insisted on his judgment. Within the rule of law, the power of the law formation was exploding wildly. Unfortunately, they could not see the scene of Jian Wushuang breaking into the law sea. And after Jian Wushuang broke through the second floor, after a moment of effort, Guiyun knew that Jian Wushuang had crossed the third floor. Really broke through the third floor? Guiyun was really shocked. You must know that the third layer needs to be aware of the laws of the universe to truly cross the threshold of entry. To reach this step, it is extremely difficult. Many supremes who have just broken through, from the beginning to grasp a trace of the law of the universe, to really step into the threshold of the law of the universe, it will take a long time. And a second-level master can break through the third layer of the sea of laws, that is, in the vast universe, it must be the top super genius. Well, this is really interesting. A super genius who can pass through the first 3 levels of the rule at the second level. Those 2 guys should also be very interested, right? Guiyun's face was strange. The smile followed, but came up with 2 orders, each passing 2 messages in the past. Bone Pupil Astral Field. The 2 first-level astral worlds are Jinyu Astral World and Qingyang Astral World. The 2 main astral world masters are the ultimate level masters, and they are extremely powerful. As the so-called one mountain cannot tolerate 2 tigers, there are 2 first-level astral circles in a star domain, and only the existence of these 2 ultimate dominators. Naturally, the 2 astral circles are very fierce on weekdays. As of today, both Lord Jinyu and Lord Qingyang have received a message from Ghost Cloud, the caretaker of the Law Sea. There is a second-level player who dominates the Sea of Rules and has crossed the first 3 floors. Upon receiving the news, the 2 Star Masters were immediately alarmed. The third layer of the Sea of Laws. That needs to enter the threshold of the laws of the universe. Many Supremes who have just broken through have not yet long. The perception of the laws of the universe is only at this level. If such a super genius can belong to my Jinyu Star Realm door, then do I have to avoid the disciple of Qingyang again? Jin Yuxing's main subject is shining with unprecedented brilliance, and the next moment, he will directly ride the cosmic passage in the world of Jin Yuxing and rush towards the island where the Sea of Law is located at the fastest speed. Chapter 40-48. The first is more. Qingyang Astral Realm. Under the blue sky, it was a purgatory. The entire endless earth is burning wildly by a fiery fire, which shows a strange purple-black color. It has been burning in this land for many years, but it has never been extinguished. The practitioners of the Qingyang astral world don't talk about the rulers. Even some powerful masters easily dare not set foot on this land. After all, it is better to dominate the land for a longer time. It is possible to burn the fire of this land into ashes. However, in these illusory illusions, a young man in purple clothing is located at the center of the fire in this land. The endless purple and black flames are burning wildly. For this young woman in purple clothing, it seems to nourish him nourishment in general. He cultivated on this land, as if the fish were in the water, and he felt extremely comfortable. At this time, a figure suddenly dropped. Tua. Qingyang's star appeared in front of the young man in purple clothing. Master, why are you here? The evil young man in purple clothing looked up in surprise. Something happened, sir, just follow me. Qing Yanxing said. Oh. The evil young man in purple clothing couldn't help getting up, and asked, what's wrong? The ghost cloud guarding the law sea just sent me a message saying that a second-level master is now breaking through the law sea and has already crossed the first 3 floors. Qing Yang Star said. What? The evil young man in purple clothing was startled, but his expression followed him became extremely dignified. He knew why his master Qingyang Star came to him. Because of the entire big star field, so far only he is the only one who understands the laws of the universe. He is also known as the first day recognized by this big star field, but he also realized it at the 4th level. A trace of the cosmic law is still only the 4th level to dominate the level, but the cosmic law has been able to cross the 2nd level of the law sea not long ago. However, the gap between the 2nd layer and the 3rd layer of the rule of the sea is already extremely large, not to mention that the other party is only dominated by a 2nd level. Let's go to the law sea. Qing Yanxing waved his hand, and even if he was carrying his disciple, that is, the young man in purple clothing, went directly to the Sea of Rules. On the edge of the Sea of Law, the shock on the caretaker's ghost cloud's face has disappeared, replaced by a faint smile. His heart was also quite happy. You know, the reason why he is a caretaker is to dig out some super geniuses hidden in the universe. Those like Zhen Wushuang who can dominate the 3rd level of the Sea of Law at the level of the 2nd level, must be one of the top geniuses. A 2nd-level master can break through the 3rd layer of the law sea and is qualified to let me report. Well, don't worry, wait until he finishes. Guiyun chuckled. Suddenly, Guiyun stared fiercely. First, 4th floor? He was completely stunned. A 2nd-level master is able to break through the 3rd layer of the Sea of Laws, but he just learned that Zhen Wushuang has crossed the 4th layer of the Sea of Laws. You know, the Sea of Rules has 3 steps, from the 3rd floor to the 4th floor. The span in the middle is very large, but Zhen Wushuang also broke through. He's already on the 5th floor. Is it possible that he can break through the 5th floor? Guiyun stirred his throat, his eyes flashed with a thick light, and in the bottom of his heart he began to look forward. Law of the Sea, the 5th floor. Still on that vast ocean, Zhen Wushuang stood there, and in front of him was an old man in Xingyi. To this old man in Xingyi, Zhen Wushuang is no stranger, because in the previous 4 levels, he also encountered this old man in Xingyi, but at different levels, the strength of this old man in Xingyi is also different. A 2nd-level master, who can come here, you have a bright future. The old man in Xingyi looked at Zhen Wushuang, with a touch of appreciation in his eyes. Please also give pointers to seniors. Zhen Wushuang but quite humble. Like the first 4 layers, defeat me and you will be able to enter the 6th layer. The old man in Xingyi smiled slightly and followed suit. Boom. The ocean below burst into a sudden burst. The old man in Xingyi was holding a black stick in his hand. It was like a wave in the sea. The sword was crushed by the mighty sword. There is not much power, and the underlying universe of the stick club is not strong, but there is an extremely strong force of cosmic law in this stick. Zhen Wushuang also moved immediately. He held the Wu Cry Excalibur with one hand, and the force of the universe law swept up and greeted him directly. Clang, 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 clang. The two collided madly on the sea, constantly competing for speed and power, and had already faced each other hundreds of times in the blink of an eye. But suddenly, The old man in Xingyi twisted his wrists randomly, but the black stick that came from the bomb was suddenly split into two in the void. The two black sticks smashed at almost the same time towards the sword. What? Jian Wushuang was startled. Identical attacks. I can't tell which one is real and which one is fake. What's wrong? Jian Wushuang's head was a little bun. This old man in Xingyi is not a special body or mystical skill, but he really relies on the power of the law to make his attack change from 1 to 2, and they are exactly the same. Can't see any flaws at all. Boom. Jian Wushuang is fully motivated to comprehend the laws of the universe, and try his best to block the two stick figures coming at the same time. But in the sea of laws, the same divine power, the same understanding of the Tao, even at the same speed, he could not resist two stick figures at the same time. I saw Jian Wushuang leaning as hard as he could to stop one of the stick figures, but that stick figure turned directly into a phantom, while the other stick figure was bombarded on the sword's body without any obstacle. The sword without twins burst out immediately, and then regained its standing on the sea in the middle of a while, and finally the sea, which was madly below, finally calmed down. Little guy, you lost. The old man in Xingyi calmly looked at Jian Wushuang. How can this be? Jian Wushuang frowned. He didn't expect that he was so defeated. The most important thing is that when he confronted the old man in Xingyi, he obviously felt that the old man in Xingyi had a worse understanding of the laws of the universe than himself. Yes, the old man in Xingyi has no idea how much he feels about the laws of the universe, but he doesn't know, but in the fifth layer of the Sea of Laws, he is not as good as himself about the laws of the universe. But the two played against each other, but they lost. Chapter 40-49. Second more. Little guy, don't you think it's incredible? The old man in Xingyi looked at it at the moment. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. I can feel that your perception of the laws of the universe is worse than mine, but you can easily beat me on the premise that everything else is the same. Haha. In fact, this is very easy to understand. The same power of the universe can be realized in the hands of different people, and there is not much strength. This is the mastery and use of the universe. Laughed. Mastery and application of the laws of the universe. Jian Wushuang stunned. Like the rules of heaven and earth, the law of the universe is an extremely transcendent and powerful force. Mastering this kind of power is naturally vital. It is like also a peerless sword in the hands of an ordinary person. The power of the peerless swordsman is completely different. The old man in Xingyi laughed. Your perception of the laws of the universe is already relatively high, at least higher than the perception of the laws of the universe that I can play on the fifth floor of this law, but unfortunately, your grasp and application of the laws of the universe are really it's too rough. You just know that the power of the rules is integrated into your sword skills and into your own attacks, and the power of the rules that can naturally be exerted is not strong. Although the power of the rules I have exerted is lower than you, but I have mastered and used them well, but the combat power is stronger than you. After that, the old man in Xingyi looked back at Jian Wushuang. Little guy, you are good at kendo. If there is a division behind it, you can ask your division to find a way for you to use a cosmic law that is compatible with swordplay. Learn more about the basic application and mastery of the laws of the universe, which will greatly enhance your strength. I see, thank you for your guidance. Jian Wushuang thanked him quickly. Okay, go. The old man in Xingyi waved his hand. Immediately, Jian Wushuang discovered that his body was uncontrollably swept backwards, and soon he swept out of the Sea of Rules and came to overseas of the rules. Cold as frost, magic flames greeted immediately. Fu Jun, how do you feel? Lung Rushuang asked. It's a good harvest. Jian Wushuang smiled. This time he broke through the Sea of Rules, he did gain a lot. First of all, I know how much I feel about the laws of the universe, which is the fourth level of the Sea of Laws, and there is still a certain distance from the fifth layer of the Sea of Laws. Of course, this matter is relatively minor for Jian Wushuang. The real big gain is in the fifth floor of the Law Sea. The old man in Xingyi gave him pointers to make him realize that he is now using and mastering the laws of the universe. It's too rough. As the old man in Xingyi said, although he has a good understanding of the laws of the universe, he will simply apply the laws of the universe to his sword and attack power. But in fact, the magical effects of the laws of the universe go far beyond that. It has just been that no one has taught him, and there are no secret methods used by the rules for him to manipulate and practice, and he has not realized this. But now he is truly aware. Ha ha, blood swordsman, good skill. A hearty laugh sounded, and the caretaker ghost cloud flashed a strange light, looking at the sword Wushuang. At the same time, this ghost cloud finally revealed its own breath of magical power. It is a 5th-ranked master, and his breath is obviously more powerful than the thunder star that Jian Wushuang originally encountered in the purple star field. The 5th peak is the highest. Jian Wushuang secretly surprised. But for a caretaker of the Law Sea, the strength is so strong, no wonder this ghost cloud will now call himself a friend. Xiaojian Xiaoyu, if I'm not wrong, you should not be a native practitioner of this big pupil? Guiyun asked. Yes, we are from other star domains, this time just passing through here, knowing that there is a sea of laws, we just came to break through, and we will leave immediately. Jian Wushuang replied. No wonder, if you are a Bloodblade pupil, you are already a big star pupil practitioner, then you must have a great reputation in the Bone Pupil Starfield. Guiyun smiled. Blood Sword Kid friend, you will leave soon? Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. Well, that's a pity. If I let the master of Jinyu know this, I'm afraid he'll be very disappointed. Guiyun sighed. Jin Yuxing master? Jian Wushuang looked, and he naturally knew that Jin Yuxing, the 2 first-level astral worlds of the Bingtong star domain, was also the ultimate master. Bloodsword friends, don't hide it. When you crossed the 3rd floor of the Rule of Sea, I have already sent a message to Master Jin Yu and Master Qing Yang respectively. These two should have done it without accident. I expect to be here soon. Guiyun rode. Mr. Guiyun. Jian Wushuang frowned, and his heart rose with dissatisfaction. He came to this Rule of Sea, he just wanted to break through and know how much he felt about the laws of the universe. He didn't want to meet people in the big star field, let alone the 2 ultimate people in the big star field. Levels dominate. But when the ghost cloud turned the news, the 2 ultimate masters immediately noticed him. Haha, blood sword friends, although you can rest assured, the Lord Jin Yu and the Lord Qing Yang have indeed arrived, but they will not do any harm to you. After all, there is no holiday between you, even they arrive come here, maybe there will be some benefits to you. Guiyun laughed. Oh. Jian Wushuang glanced at Guiyun, his brows also opened up. Indeed, when he first arrived in the big star field, he did not have any intersection with the 2 ultimate masters, and the other party could not come to him for any reason. As for the benefits, Jian Wushuang did not think about it. Oh, the Lord Jinyu has arrived. Guiyun suddenly said. Jian Wushuang also looked up to the direction outside the island. Sure enough, a figure bathed in golden light was coming out acutely, and soon appeared in front of several people of Jian Wushuang. Ghost Cloud Jin Yuxing speaks openly, and his voice is bright. He first said hello to Guiyun, but immediately looked at the 3 men with swords and swords. With his strength, he naturally saw the realm of the 3 men of Jian Wushuang, and then his eyes were immediately fixed on Jian Wushuang. After all, among the 3 players of Jian Wushuang, only Jian Wushuang is the master of the 2nd grade. It is also him who naturally crossed the 3rd layer of the Sea of Rules. This one should be the blood sword friend who crossed the 3rd floor of the Rule of Law. Jin Yuxing came to the sword without a double face, with a smile on his face. Jin Yuxing, he is indeed a blood sword friend. This is true, but there is something wrong with you. He has not only crossed the 3rd layer of the Law Sea, but just now, he also crossed the 4th layer. Said Guiyun with a smile. Chapter 40-50. The first is more. 4th floor. Jin Yuxing stared. In his opinion, the blood sword could break through the 3rd floor, which was already incredible, and the 4th floor was even more shocking. Such a super genius, if. The thought of Jin Yuxing shook hands fiercely, and his heart had a decision. The 2nd level can pass through the 4th layer of the Sea of Laws. The Bloodsword boy is really amazing, even me, I admire it. Jin Yuxing laughed, speaking obviously with a bit of praise. Meaning. This makes Jian Wushuang's heart slightly surprised. This Jin Yuxing Lord has nothing to do with himself. Even if he shows great talent, he can admire at most a sentence or two, but he will tout him? This makes Jian Wushuang can't help wondering whether this Jinyu Star Lord has another purpose. Xiaojian Xiaoyu, if you don't mind, can you please go to my Jinyu astral world and have a cup of tea? Jinyu Star laughed. Drinking tea? The sword has no strange double-sided color, but still nodded, and said, Jin Yuxing is invited. I dare not refuse. I won't let it go. After all, I'm in a hurry, just here. Okay. Jin Yuxing waved his hand, and a coffee table appeared in front of him. There was a pot of tea on the table and a few teacups. Both Jin Yuxing and Jian Wushuang sat down next to the coffee table. Jin Yuxing personally poured a cup of tea for Jian Wushuang, and also poured a cup of cold frost and ghost clouds beside him. As for the magic flame, he never sat down. Bloodsword friend, please. Jin Yuxing smiled. Jian Wushuang held up the teacup in his hand and sniffed at the tip of his nose, and felt his whole soul feel relaxed for a moment. This tea is not ordinary. Jian Wushuang understood immediately. He did not hesitate to drink a cup with his wife at the same time, drink a cup of tea, a cooling effect, and the effect of the tea immediately came into play. Jian Wushuang only felt that the power of his soul was wrapped in an incomparably warm force, and the entire soul received a great nourishment, as well as his body, which was also strengthened at this moment. Even his body and mind, it was a relaxed and relaxing time, like the depression of millions of years, suddenly disappeared. Curious special effect. Jian Wushuang opened his eyes with a hint of surprise in his eyes. Haha, this is iced tea, but a rare treasure of the cosmic boat, just like a pot. Its value is probably 50 source stone, and it is not even the source stone. You may not be able to buy it. I heard Jinyu in the beginning. The Star Master worked hard to get 3 pots of iced tea. Even if he was reluctant to drink it, the old man can still drink this cup with the light of the bloodsword little friend. Guiyun with a smile. When he heard the words of Guiyun, Jian Wushuang was shocked. Is such a pot of tea worth 50 yuanxia? And there is still no price. But following Jian Wushuang's heart, he was still vigilant. The Jin Yuxing Lord first touted himself, and then came out with such precious and rare tea. If the Jin Yuxing Lord had no other purpose, Jian Wushuang would definitely not believe it. It's just a pot of tea. It can be strong enough to be a super genius like Bloodsword Xiaoyu. Even if you take out all 3 pots of ice heart tea, what's the point? Jin Yuxing laughed. Jin Yuxing is really generous. Guiyun smiled, but didn't say more. Xiaojian Xiaoyu, you just said you are in a hurry? What's going on? Jin Yuxing asked. It's true, the 3 of us are not practitioners of the big star field, but from other star fields. This time, I just passed here and knew that there was a sea of laws, so I tried to make a break, originally intended to break through the sea of rules, and left directly. Jian Wushuang Dao. Xiaojian Xiaoyu is so anxious to leave. Jin Yuxing frowned. Why, is there something wrong with Jin Yuxing who wants me to help? Jian Wushuang tried to ask. This. For a moment, Jin Yuxing didn't know what to say. At this moment, the ghost cloud smiled and said, Haha, let me be the middleman. Xiaojian Xiaoyu, you do know. The situation in this big star field is very delicate. After all, this big star field is not much. There are exactly 2 first-level astral circles, and the so-called 1-star CANT tolerate 2 tigers, 2 first-level stars. In the same large star field, there will naturally be many battles. After a long period of time, these 2 first-level star circles have been fighting, and the 2 sides have already been in the same position. However, although both sides are first-class stars, although the overall strength is similar, in terms of the strongest, Jin Yuxing's combat power is slightly worse than Qingyan's. Oh! Jian Wushuang couldn't help looking at Jin Yuxing. Ashamed, although they are also the masters of the ultimate level, the strength of the Qingyang star is indeed much better than mine, but my life-saving ability is not weak. He is alone. Although I can't beat him, he is also difficult. How could I have expected me? Jin Yuxing said. Since this is the case, you shouldn't have to be afraid of the Qingyang star. Jian Wushuang Dao. He is not afraid. Guiyun laughed. For a long time, the Jinyu star realm and Qingyang star realm have been fighting, and they have not been in a disadvantage, but not long ago, something happened. He is the master of Qingyang Star. He has received a disciple, and his disciple is extremely talented. He has been practicing for only 2 million years. He has not only reached the 4th level dominance level, but he has also learned a bit of the law of the universe. Not long ago, the disciple of Qingyang Star also came to break through the sea of rules and broke through the 2nd floor in one breath. When Guiyun said this, www.mtlnovel.com, he paused. As for the next thing, although he didn't say it, Jian Wushuang probably guessed it. Jin Yuxing's master had always been fighting with Qingyun's master, and neither side had an incomparable advantage, but now Qingyun's master has an extra disciple who understands a little bit of the law of the universe. This makes Jinyu the Star Master felt a crisis. After all, the disciple of Qingyang Star has only practiced for less than 2 million years, and is able to comprehend a bit of the law of the universe at the level of the Dominator, which has already demonstrated his talent. It must be the first genius in the entire star field. Moreover, that disciple is already in the 4th level. As long as he is given enough time, he can definitely reach the 5th level in time, and even reach the ultimate dominating level. You know, Jin Yuxing's strength is not as good as Qingyang's star. 1-to-1 he can only protect himself against Qingyang's star, but if Qingyang's star is surrounded by another person who understands the rules of the universe, the ultimate dominator, it must not be the Jin Yuxing master who can compete anymore. Chapter 4051. Second more. The disciple of Qingyang Star Lord made Jinyu Star Lord feel a great crisis, so from hundreds of thousands of years ago, Jinyu Star Lord also began to find ways to dig out the genius in Jinyu Star World, including the whole bone. The genius strong in the pupil big star domain, he is eager to cultivate a genius strong who can also understand a trace of the laws of the universe at the level of dominance, and he can contend with the disciple of Qingyang Star Master in the future. Unfortunately, in the past hundreds of thousands of years, although the Starbucks star domain has also given birth to some geniuses, none of them can comprehend a rule of the universe at the dominating level, said Guiyun with a smile. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. He is very clear that it is extremely difficult for the dominating level to realize a trace of the law of the universe. Like the Lord Jinyu and the Lord Qingyang, they are the ultimate masters. They have not been able to comprehend the laws of the universe, let alone others. Under normal circumstances, even if it is a large star field, it is extremely difficult to give birth to a dominant level to comprehend a rule of the universe. Often it is dozens, even hundreds of chaotic periods. One disciple was born before, the disciple of Qingyang Star Master, and Jin Yuxing Master now wants to find the second one, which is naturally more difficult. Of course, this is only confined to the big pupil field, but the appearance of himself now clearly shows the hope of Jin Yuxing. Bloodsword friend, Guiyun said so, I don't hide you, I really want you to stay in the big pupil of the bone pupil, and help me to fight against the green astral world together. Of course, I am willing to do so, pay the price. 1 top quality rule top treasure battle armor, 1 top quality soul defense rule top treasure, plus 1 middle class rule top treasure warrior. In addition, in the future, if you need to practice in the Jinyu astral world, as long as there is a need, even if it is proposed, as long as I can get it, I will never quit. Jin Yuxing said solemnly. Jian Wushuang glanced at Jin Yuxing. I have to say that this Jin Yuxing Lord is really sincere. Let us not talk about the iced tea just now, just the price that the Jin Yuxing Lord is willing to pay now. One of the top quality rule is the treasure battle armor, one of the top quality soul defense rule is the top treasure, and one of the middle class rule is the top treasure soldier. This rule of treasure is worth more than 5,000 cosmic source rocks. You have to know that the most common ultimate level masters are all about 10,000 cosmic source stones. Although this gold feather star master is a first level astral master, his wealth is naturally more than the general ultimate master, but one-off the price of paying 5,000 cosmic source rocks is indeed a big deal. Jin Yuxing. Jian Wushuang looked at Jin Yuxing and said, sorry, I can't promise you. Bloodsword friend. The star of Jin Yu was obviously anxious. If you feel that I have paid less, and there are other requirements, you can agree to them, but I will agree to you. It's not a question of whether you pay enough or not. Jian Wushuang shook his head. You said just now. I'm not a practitioner of the big star field. I came here just because I just passed by. Concealed, the reason why I would leave my hometown and go to the universe is largely because I have to rush to the Joyao star field in a short time. I can't stay in a star field for too long, let alone stay in the big pupil field, and work with you to counter the Qingyang astral field. So, I can only be sorry. I heard that although Jin Yuxing's heart is still unwilling, he can only smile bitterly. I also guessed that you are from other star domains, but you are only dominated by the genius passing by here. I want to keep you, indeed unlikely. Master Jin Yu was already mentally prepared to learn that Jian Wushuang came from the sea of knowledge in other star domains. Normally, if Jian Wushuang is a native practitioner of the big star field, he is confident that Jian Wushuang will stay, but since he is from another star field, he is obviously a strong man who is roaming in the universe and wants to leave the other party. It is a bit unrealistic. Knowing that he didn't fight reality, the master of Jin Yu still tried it as much as possible, and the result was naturally rejected by Jian Wushuang. The Lord of the Golden Feathers, the little sword of the blood sword, dominated by the second level, and crossed the fourth floor of the Sea of Law. These geniuses, even in the entire vast universe, are bound to be top-notch, most anti-heavenly the kind. You want to keep him in an ordinary big star domain, it is impossible at all. Guiyun also pouted and said, I know. Master Jin Yuxing's expression was more bitter, but after all, he was the ultimate master, and soon Jin Yuxing's face re-emerged with a smile. A genius like you doesn't make a bad trip. That's right. Guiyun nodded. Just then there were two silhouettes coming out of the void outside the island. The Lord of Qingyang came with his disciple. Guiyun said, Oh. Jian Wushuang looked up. Huh. Jin Yuxing snorted softly. Haha, it's quite lively here. Indifferent laughter sounded, and the two figures came to the Sea of Rules, and then appeared in shape. And it was the Qingyang star who gave the indifferent laughter. As for his disciples, when the figure of the young man in purple clothing emerged, his sharp, blade-like eyes locked Jian Wushuang for the first time. It's him, who understands the laws of the universe, and he is obviously only a second-level master, and even broke through the fourth layer of the Sea of Laws. The eyes of the evil young man in purple clothing narrowed. On the way, Guiyun again sent a message to Qingyang Xingzhu, telling him that Jian Wushuang broke through the fourth floor, and Qingyang Xingzhu also told him. Qingyang Xingzhu, you are much later than Jin Yu Xingzhu. Guiyun smiled. Jin Yu is alone. I got here immediately when I heard from you, but I have to bring my disciple. Of course, it will be slower, but fortunately, I caught up. Qingyang the Star Master smiled, but his eyes swept across Jin Yu Star Master, and he also saw the pot of tea on the coffee table. Oh, even Bingling tea has been taken out. It seems that Jin Yu has already lost the blood, but if I'm not mistaken, this little friend of the blood sword is afraid he didn't agree with him. Road. Does this have nothing to do with you? Jin Yuxing Lord hummed. Yes, it's okay. Qingyang Xingzhu smiled, but already got the answer in his heart. At this time, the young man in purple clothing has come to Jian Wushuang, and said lowly, My name is Emperor Fire. Chapter 4052. The first is more. Emperor Fire? Jian's eyes were calm and he looked at the young man in purple in front of him. I heard that you have crossed the fourth floor of the Law Sea. I would like to fight with you. I wonder if you dare to fight. Di was said directly. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. When he saw the eyes of the emperor, he guessed what the emperor wanted to do, but he didn't expect that the emperor was so directly inviting to fight. Jian Wushuang did not immediately respond, but the master of the Jin Yu star next to him sneered, Emperor Fire, you are already dominated by the fourth level, but the little sword of the blood sword is only the second level. Are you embarrassed to invite him to battle? Of course I will not bully him. When fighting, I will deliberately control the power of divine power, and I will only use the power of the fusion of the 5 rules. I will only fight by understanding the laws of the universe and understanding the Tao. Zihua is still staring at Jian Wushuang. Why, don't you dare? The sword has no weird sides. Child of the blood sword. Someone spoke again, but at this moment it was the master of the Emperor's fire, Qingyang Star. Can young friends talk aside? Qing Yanxing laughed. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. Immediately, Qingyang Star Master and Jian Wushuang came to the side, and Qingyang Star Master directly blocked the surrounding spacetime, apparently did not want his conversation to be heard by others. Bloodsword friend, sorry, although my disciple does have some talents, but his temperament is too arrogant, plus he has been the first genius recognized by this big pupil in these years. In contrast, this made him even more visionary. Because of this, he sees his friends today and will directly come to the battle. Qing Yang Star said. I can understand. Jian Wushuang nodded. Obviously, that Emperor Hua had always been the first genius of Bingtong Starfield, and now suddenly a person with a higher level of talent and understanding than him appeared. This Emperor Hua was definitely not convinced and wanted to try. Is that friend going to fight? Qing Yang Star asked. Qing Yang Xingzhu, do you want me to fight or do not want to? Jian Wushuang asked. If the little friend is confident that he can defeat my disciple, I hope the little friend will be able to challenge you. Qing Yanxing said. Oh, why? Jian Wushuang wondered. I just said, my disciple is good at everything, but his temperament is too arrogant and he has everything. This is not a good thing for him, so if it is possible, I hope you can take the lesson and teach him, turn it over and let him know that there are people outside and there is a sky outside. Of course, I won't let the little friend do you a favor. Afterwards, I can give the little friend a rule of treasure as a reward. Qing Yanxing said. After hearing the words of Qingyang Xingzhu, the sword has no double-sided color, but it is even stranger. He didn't expect that the master of Qingyang actually wanted to invite him to teach his disciples well. But yes, a proud character like Emperor Hua now is naturally okay in this big pupil, but if you go to the vast universe in the future, maybe you will cause any troubles because of his character. Giving him a lesson early will be of great help to Emperor Fire. Qingyang Star Lord, I will promise to fight him, and I will teach him to double as you said. As for the reward you said, you don't have to. Jian Wushuang Dao. It's just a hand, and Jian Wushuang really didn't want any reward. Thank you, Xiao Jian, for the blood sword. Qing Yang Star smiled. Soon the two returned to the Emperor's fire. Emperor Hua looked at his master Qing Yang Star with a puzzled look, but found that the latter was an inscrutable look, and he was puzzled, wondering what his master said to Jian Wushuang. Di Hua, I promise to fight you. Jian Wushuang said directly. Very well, where are we going to fight? Emperor Hua's eyes flashed. I'm in a hurry, so I don't have to choose the place of war, just here. Jian Wushuang said casually. Arrogant. Emperor Hua was agitated by Jian Wushuang's attitude. In the void on the island, Jian Wushuang and Emperor Fire stood a certain distance from each other and stood face to face, while the Qingyang Star Master and Jinyu Star Master had already receded to the side. Cold as frost, magic flame, and ghost cloud stood together. This Emperor Fire is just crossing the second floor of the Law Sea. I really think he is so great. Don't say that he is still deliberately suppressing his divine power. Even if he goes all out, I am afraid he is not his opponent. Flame secretly pursed his lips. Above the void, Emperor Hua's eyes were cold, and a blue sword appeared in his hand. This cyan sword has a raging cyan flame burning frantically. This flame is enough to make ordinary masters stunned. Blood sword, you are the first person in these hundreds of thousands of years to make me really eager to fight. I hope this battle, you do not let me down. Emperor Hua held the blue flame sword with one hand, staring at the sword with scorching eyes. Unparalleled. I'm in a hurry, you don't have to be stingy, let's hurry up and pass you on, so I can hurry up. Jian Wushuang looked impatient. You're too arrogant. Emperor Hua was completely enraged by Jian Wushuang, and he stopped talking nonsense and shot directly. I saw. Phantoms burst out at the same time. The Emperor's fire turned out to have 9 figures. The 9 figures are exactly the same in appearance, breath, and movement in their hands. Even the power of the soul can't instantly tell which one of the 9 figures is him. Deity. 9 figures came at the same time, and the blue flame sword in his hand was already held high, and was ready to be cut off. This Emperor's fire has far worse perceptions of the laws of the universe than me, and he, like me, does not know how to better master these laws of the universe. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly, but his body moved suddenly already. Call out. I saw Jian Wushuang's entire body directly turned into a cold Jianmang, flashing out instantly. His speed is really too fast. That Emperor Fire hadn't had time to cut out the sword in his hand. The icy sword mandrel that sword Wushuang has transformed has already directly hit his many figures. It was at this moment that the 8 figures of Emperor Fire were directly smashed and smashed. As for his deity, he was also impacted by the terrible swordman Yu Lu's. Jian Wushuang's figure resurfaced in the void, and he looked indifferently at the imperial fire in front of the void. Emperor Hui, however, was completely trapped there. Just for a moment it was obviously his first shot, but he had lost the sword before he could cut it. There is no room for struggle. The gap between the two is really too big. Chapter 4053. Second more. How is that possible? Emperor Hui was buzzing at the moment. He knew that Jian Wushuang could break through the 4th layer of the Sea of Laws, and he must be much higher than himself in the perception of the laws of the universe. However, even if the two men are fighting, even if they have the same divine power and the same degree of fusion of rules, the success or failure cannot be determined only by understanding the laws of the universe. From Emperor Fire's point of view, although he is not as good as Jian Wushuang in his understanding of the laws of the universe, he is very confident in his own understanding of the origin of the knife path universe, as well as his sword skills and the secret techniques he has learned. In this case, even if he has a weaker understanding of the laws of the universe, he should be able to defeat the blood sword in front of him. But it was not what he imagined. He didn't even have the chance to show his skill, and he was instantly defeated. A strong sword. The Qingyang Star Lord, Jinyu Star Lord, and Ghost Cloud watching the battle around were all surprised. 2 of them are the masters of the ultimate level, and the other one is the master of the 5th series. They have high vision, and it is natural to see how good the sword that Wushuang has just cast. Too fast. Jin Yuxing praised. It's very fast. Simply talking about speed, I am afraid that in the 5th series, they are the top ones. There is no doubt that the Blood Sword Boy not only has a very high awareness of the laws of the universe, but also his perception of the Kendo universe. It's also outrageous, and it is estimated that it has dominated by most of the 5th series. Qing Yanxing said. At home, you can't judge other things simply by looking at the perception of the laws of the universe, but now it seems that the little friends of the blood sword are much stronger than we thought. Guiyun also sighed. Before, they only thought that Jian Wushuang only had a higher awareness of the laws of the universe, but now they know that Jian Wushuang's perception of the origin of the universe of Kendo is equally high, and his swordplay is also better than many 5th-grade masters who are good at Kendo. Must be strong. The Emperor's fire was defeated in his hands, and to Guiyun's view, they were not injustice at all. At this moment Jian Wushuang had been swept down from the void, and that Emperor's fire followed behind Jian Wushuang and swept down. Xiaojian Xiaoyu, thank you very much. Qing Yanxing smiled. You're welcome. Jian Wushuang just nodded faintly. You children, can you be convinced in this battle? Qingyang Star looked at Emperor Hui. Emperor Hui moved his lips and wanted to say something, but in the end he still put up, but lowered his head and looked extremely ugly. The Qingyang Star snorted suddenly. If you lose, you lose. If you don't even have the courage to face failure, then you are too disappointed. Master, Emperor Huolian looked up and sank. This disciple is convinced, and I would like to thank Mr. Shuejian for his guidance. The Emperor Hui has even become a gentleman's title to Jian Wushuang. Obviously, Jian Wushuang's strength really convinced him. Seeing this, Qingyang Xingfang nodded with satisfaction and said, a defeat is not terrible, not to mention that this blood-sword boyfriend who defeated you now, even in the vast universe, it is bound to be top-notch. The most anti-genius genius is defeated in the hands of such a genius, and it is not shameful. It is important that you recognize yourself through this battle. Although you are a genius, you are the first in terms of talent in the entire starfield. However, looking at the vast universe, you may not be able to rank at the top. At least those geniuses that are against the sky, you are not good. A lot. What you have to do is to maintain the awe of the universe, put away your temperament, and slowly grow step by step. One day, sooner or later, you will naturally have the opportunity to stabilize the peak, and even in the future, it is possible to surpass the bloodsword friendly. The disciples understand. Emperor Hu focused heavily, and his eyes became hot again. When Jian Wushuang heard this remark, he nodded secretly, seeing that the Qingyang Star Master was really very interested in his disciple, and he also knew very well how to teach his disciple. Borrowing his own hand, after learning from the fire, Emperor Hu's temperament will definitely be wiped out, and his future achievements will be even greater. As for whether this imperial fire has a chance to surpass itself in the future, this sword is unparalleled but dare not say. Well, the war has also fought. Tua, let's go back. Qingyang Star said directly. Yes. Emperor Hu nodded respectfully. Qingyang Xingjiao Chao smiled with a smile, and then left with Emperor Fire. It's a pity. Jin Yuxing looked at Jian Wushuang with some emotion. Obviously, Jian Wushuang's talent is much higher than that of the emperor, and the potential is even greater. Unfortunately, Jian Wushuang did not agree to his invitation. No more, Xiaojian of Bloodsword, Guiyun, gone too. Jin Yuxing also left directly. After the 2 stars have left Xiaojian Xiaoyu, I just heard you say, you are going to Juyao Starfield? Guiyun looked over. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. Since you are going to the Juyao Starfield, then after you leave the Bingtong Starfield, the next stop should be the Danshan Starfield. Guiyun said. That's it. Jian Wushuang looked at Guiyun in doubt, wondering why the Guiyun asked him this way. That's it. After you broke through the 4th layer of the Sea of Laws, I told you the news. You should know that it is the top force in the depths of the universe that created the Sea of Laws. The sea, and the Sea of Laws spread all over the major star domains of the universe, and the presence of a caretaker on the waterfront of each big star domain law naturally has some special intentions. This special intention is actually to dig out some talented geniuses. A genius like Bloodsword Little Friends, of course, will attract the attention of those high-level powerful people in this party. There may even be people and friends. Contact, so I hope you can leave a message sign for you, so that I can contact you. Guiyun rode. Oh. Jian Wushuang frowned haha, although you can rest assured, this is not a bad thing for you. Guiyun laughed. Jian Wushuang groaned for a while and nodded slightly. Indeed, like the Zhojian Pavilion and the forces behind this Sea of Laws, they are all super hegemons in the universe. In the face of such super hegemons, even the supreme may be nothing, let alone a genius who has not yet grown up. If there is no absolute reason, these super forces will definitely not reduce their status to a genius. At most they will find ways to solicit these geniuses at various conditions or costs. For example, the Jodi Pavilion is the special list of the Jodi list. And the superpower behind the Law Sea, even if he really wants to contact him, it is estimated that he will come to solicit it, which is really not a bad thing for Jian Wushuang. Chapter 4054. The first is more. Jian Wushuang left his messenger, even if he left. After leaving the Law Sea, Jian Wushuang continued to graze toward the Joyao Starfield, and the next starfield he was passing by was the Danshan Starfield. In the early days of the Kingdom of God, Jian Wushuang and his wife have traveled to the universe for more than 20,000 years, but in the early days of the Kingdom of God, they are still extremely peaceful. Although the deities of Sword Wushuang departed, since the beginning of the world has stabilized, and the mysterious Shinto people and the Master of Space and Time are still there. In addition, Sword Wushuang controls the will of the heaven gods of the beginning of the world, naturally no one can mess come. Within the Star Palace, Jian Wushuang's consciousness incarnation appeared in front of the mysterious Shinto. Xian Shen, find the Master of Shenyun for me. I have something and want to ask him. Jian Wushuang Dao. Okay, wait a minute. The Xian Shinto man immediately arranged. No way, Jian Wushuang is now just a conscious clone. Even if you want to find Shenyun dominated, you have to come out of the mysterious Shinto. Soon, Shenyun's figure appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. Of course, Shenyun's figure was just an incarnation of consciousness. The Lord of the Blood Sword, is he still intriguing in the universe? Master Shen Yun smiled and looked at Jian Wushuang. Of course, the vast universe is much wider than the star field where the world was in the early days. Jian Wushuang also smiled. Master Shen Yun, I have something to ask you this time. What is it? Shen Yun dominated over. You also know that I have realized a trace of the laws of the universe, and over the years, my perception of the laws of the universe has improved a lot than before, but not long ago, I met a strong man and he told me that although I have a good understanding of the laws of the universe, I do not know how to master them and apply them. He also suggested that I buy some secrets of the combination of the laws of the universe and kendo. I'm also curious about this kind of secret code, and there must be such a secret code in the Jodi Pavilion, but I don't know what the specific value is. Jian Wushuang asked. He now wants to know the value of the secret that will enable him to better master the use of the laws of the universe and practice in perfect harmony with his own kendo. Is his own net worth able to afford it now? The secrets of the laws of the universe to master and use, but also to perfectly cooperate with their swordsmanship. Shen Yun dominated the weirdness. After groaning for a while, Shen Yun's master only reopened. The Lord of the Blood Sword, this kind of secret you said naturally exists in my 9 Emperors Pavilion, but its value is high. I am afraid it will exceed your imagination. Oh, how much? Jian Wushuang's eyes narrowed and his heart was ready. However, Shen Yun's dominator directly stretched out a finger and said, even if it is a more common method or secret of mastering and applying the laws of the universe, in my Jodi Pavilion, the value starts from 100,000 universe source stones. As for the Lord of the Blood Sword, what you call the secret code of the perfect coordination of the law of the universe and kendo, the value is even higher, and you will need hundreds of thousands of cosmic source stones casually. What? Even though Jian Wushuang had some psychological preparation, he was still startled when he heard the numbers. The 100,000 cosmic source stone started. Is it just the most common kind of cosmic law mastery and application secrets? How can it be so expensive? Jian Wushuang frowned. Noble is normal. Shen Yun dominated, but said with a smile, the Lord of the Blood Sword, you should know that the laws of the universe are generally only those who are supremely powerful before they are qualified to understand them, and those who understand the laws of the universe at the level of very few. Even if the dominating realm understands the laws of the universe, most of them can only comprehend a little, and only a little understanding does not need to be used at all. Therefore, under normal circumstances, the only secret of the application of the laws of the universe is the Supreme will buy it, and only the Supreme can afford it. Is that so? Sword unparalleled. Indeed, the 100,000 cosmic source stones are almost one-day figures for the master, but for the Supreme Strongman, I am afraid they are nothing. And the secret to the application of the laws of the universe is for the Supreme Strong. As for the master, because most of the masters are unable to comprehend it, even if it is comprehended, there is only a little comprehension, very few, there is no need for such a secret. However, Jian Shuang is different. He realized a trace of the law of the universe at the level of the master of the rule, and has made great progress over the years. Now he can cross the 4th layer of the Sea of Laws, and even simply comprehend the laws of the universe. He is stronger than the defenders of the 5th floor of the Law Sea, but the other party's ability to use and control the laws of the universe is much stronger than him. Such a sense of cosmic law is stronger than some of the most extreme Supreme, and he needs to use the secret code of the cosmic law. However, the value of this secret code is so expensive that Jian Wushuang cannot accept it at all. I thought my current net worth was relatively rich, but I didn't expect that even the most common law of the universe uses methods. I couldn't afford it. Jian Wushuang smiled bitterly. I see, Shen Yun is the master, thank you. Jian Wushuang thanked him. The Lord of the Blood Sword is polite. Master Shen Yun laughed, and his body dissipated immediately. In the vastness and darkness of the universe, the ancient spacecraft is still rushing. In the spacecraft, Jian Wushuang's face smiled bitterly. The most common cosmic law uses secrets, and it takes 100,000 cosmic source stones to start. It's really expensive. Jian Wushuang admired. Cold as frost next to heard this just smiled slightly. The magic flame said in a deep voice, Master, I didn't even grasp a trace of the laws of the universe during my lifetime. The secret to the application of the laws of the universe is farther away, but I have also heard people say that everything involved things that are comprehended or applied to the laws of the universe are very expensive. After all, those things are generally only the most powerful ones who are eligible to be involved. Well, I've been taught today. Jian Wushuang shrugged. However, he is not in a hurry. After all, his strength is still too weak, just the second level. For him now, there are many ways to improve his strength. Improving the use and control of the laws of the universe is just one of them. Even if he doesn't have that secret book now, when his strength improves in the future, he will naturally have other ways to get it. Keep on the road. It won't be long before you can reach the Danshin starfield. I don't know if the superpower behind the Sea of Laws will send the strong to contact me there. Jian Wushuang muttered. Chapter 40-55. Second more. While Jian Wushuang continued to come in the cosmic boat, in the depths of the universe, 4 figures gathered together in one of the towering temples. Although these 4 people are only conscious incarnations here, even if they are only conscious incarnations, every move is enough to suffocate the General Master. There is no doubt that these 4 people are the supreme powerhouses. This is a message from the star-studded star field on the edge of the universe not long ago. Everyone can take a look. A white man waved a message to spread. A second-level master dominated the 4th floor of the Sea of Law. It was amazing. Someone immediately praised. It's very good, and he has a very high awareness of the origin of the Kendo universe, even more than most 5th-level masters. This level of genius is hard to come by, said a figure with a bald old man. The consciousness of the Kendo universe is nothing. The key is the law of the universe. After all, the perception of the law of the universe has a lot to do with its own realm. Like some masters who spend endless years, they can't realize the trace of the law of the universe in countless ways. As long as you reach the highest level, it is easier to understand the laws of the universe. That is, the lower the level, the more difficult it is to understand the laws of the universe. He just dominated by the second order, and his perception of the laws of the universe has become so high. If I am not mistaken, it is likely that he has already realized a trace of the laws of the universe at the level of the Master of the Rules, which belongs to that kind of billions. Wen Xingjedu is a rare super genius. The only woman in purple solemnly said. The Lord of the Rules realizes a trace of the law of the universe. Is this blood sword so anti-sky? The bald old man appeared surprised. It's very likely, said the woman in purple. Okay. The white man at the beginning finally spoke. The talent of this blood sword is beyond doubt, but now we have to decide whether to contact him. If we contact him, we have to open it again. What are the conditions? Upon hearing this, the several super presences present were silent. The faction they are on is indeed one of the most powerful superpowers standing on the vast universe. Even if compared with Jodi Pavilion, it is not bad at all. And such superpowers also attach great importance to some geniuses with great potential. A genius like Jian Wushuang has obviously reached the qualifications of this superpower. However, attaching importance to attention, but also will not be desperate for a genius. After all, a genius is just a genius, not a superpower who has grown up completely and already has a great influence in the universe. This blood sword can dominate the sky at the second level, and the main thing is that he comes from the edge of the universe. Not surprisingly, not only is his talent potential terrible, but he must also have had some great opportunities, said it may have some ancient heritage. And many of these ancient traditions involve some large forces in the universe. There may even be enemies of our forces, so I propose to keep paying attention to him first, and then find a way to find out his details and wait for them. Really check it out, and it is not too late to make a decision, said the bald old man. Well, it makes sense. Lady Z nodded. I think we can make proper contact first, or give him some benefits, first make a good relationship with him, and others later. The last person said. The 4 were talking. But at this time, a hazy figure suddenly appeared in the center of the temple. The 4 people in the temple immediately looked at the people, and when they saw what the people looked like, they were all shocked. Master Xiao. I've seen Lord Xiao. The four supreme strong men, including the man in white who had a significantly higher status, respected and saluted at the same time. Heard, you're talking about the blood sword? The vicissitudes old man in Xing Yi looked around at the four people in front of him. Yes. The man in white nodded respectfully. The blood sword, I know. The old man in Xing Yi said, the Sea of Laws in Bone Pupil Starfield is exactly my incarnation. The four immediately stunned. They were just wondering why the Lord Xiao Xiao suddenly came here. You know, although this Xiao Xiao is also supreme, just like them, they are also supreme, and the gap between them is extremely huge. If the four of them can only be regarded as standing firmly in the supreme, the Xiao Xiao is undoubtedly a super strong standing at the top of the supreme. These strong men are deep enough in the universe, but they are enough to open up a great kingdom of God alone. They are the true highest powers of the superpowers in their side. And under normal circumstances, like some so-called geniuses, no matter how bad they are not qualified to alarm such super existence. But now Lord Xiao Xiao has arrived in person. It turned out that the Sea of Laws that the blood sword broke through was guarded by the incarnation of Master Xiao. The four were secretly surprised. Do you plan to contact that little guy? Master Xing Yi, Xiao Xiao, looked at the four in front of him. No, the result of the discussion between the four of us just now is that we will not contact him for the time being, but we will wait until we find out his details and then we will not be late. The man in white said. Is that so? Xiao Yaoren stared for a moment, and said, you don't care if I don't touch me, but this little guy, I think it's good. He didn't just break through the fourth layer of the Sea of Laws, in fact the Sea of Laws if I hadn't been incarnate in person, he might have broken through the fifth floor. What? The four men in white were startled. Break through the fifth floor? The gap between the fourth and fifth layers of the Law Sea is very large. If the little guy is simply aware of the laws of the universe, he already has the conditions to break through the fifth layer, but his ability to control the laws of the universe is too rough. In the law, I gave him pointers, but then I remembered that the secret code used by the law of the universe is too expensive for a master. If this little guy has a teacher behind him, if it's useless, I'm afraid he won't get the chance to get such a secret until he breaks through the ultimate dominator. That's why I came to you. Master Xiao said indifferently. The four men in white looked at each other, and they still didn't understand the purpose of Master Xiao's arrival. I chose this little guy for a recipe that fits well with his laws of the universe and kendo. Whenever you want to come in contact with him, come to me and bring him the recipe together, and say I gave it to him. After Xiao Xiao said, his body left. The Sword King. Chapter 4056. The first is more. 200 years after leaving Bingtong Starfield, Zhen Wushuang arrived at Danshan Starfield. It didn't take long for Danshan Starfield to contact him with a message. In a dark void, the cosmic boat was quietly suspended there, and in the distance there were three figures rushing forward. The three of them were headed by a man in a golden robe, and the two next to them were also wearing a formal robe. In the spaceboat, but the blood-sword little friend. The man in the golden robe came to the spaceboat and his voice passed into the spaceboat. Zhen Wushuang stepped out of the cosmic boat immediately. I wonder if your excellency is? Zhen Wushuang asked. The man in the gold robe carefully looked at Zhen Wushuang, nodded slightly, and said, my name is Three Wings, and I come from the Palace of God. God's Palace? Zhen Wushuang looked. He immediately understood that the superpower behind the Sea of Laws should be this divine palace. I just don't know who is stronger than weaker than the 9 Emperors' Palace. Bloodsword friend, you are so talented that you can cross the 4th floor of the Sea of Laws at the 2nd level. Some high-level strong men in the palace of my have noticed you, and this time sent me here. One is on behalf of the royal palace, I have a formal contact with you. Second, I also brought a gift to you. After that, the three-winged master of the golden robe man waved, and a large silver box appeared in front of Zhen Wushuang. The three-wing master opened the box, and Zhen Wushuang immediately saw the square crystal jade placed in the box. These crystal jade are neatly arranged, and at a glance, I am afraid that there are dozens of such crystal jade. Three wings dominate. Are these crystal jades? Jian Wushuang revealed his doubts. These crystal jade are specifically used to store mysteries and secrets in the depths of the universe. There are 36 crystal jade in this box. All of them are a secret code that combines the laws of the universe with kendo. Called the Secret of Purple Blood. Of course, there are 3 volumes of the complete Zishua secret, which are now brought to you, and each volume is divided into 3. Now I will bring you only the first 3 volumes of the Secret of the Purple Blood secret. The master laughed. The secret of purple blood. The secret of the combination of the law of the universe and kendo. Jian Wushuang stared. Not long ago, he asked Shen Yun to dominate, and knew that the most common cosmic law used a secret code, which started with 100,000 source stones. But now in the blink of an eye, the man in the palace of God sent a secret scripture of the combination of the laws of the universe and kendo to him. 3 wings dominate. As far as I know, the value of the secret code of the application of the laws of the universe is generally extremely expensive. The purple blood secret code you brought to me now should be very valuable, right? Jian Wushuang asked directly. Of course. 3-winged master smiled and nodded. It's true. Although I am the ultimate master and come from the palace of God, the wealth accumulated over the years can be considered some wealth, but all of my wealth adds up. I'm afraid it's worth a little bit of a scroll of this purple blood secret. Bloodsword boy, you may not know yet. In the universe, even the most common cosmic law using the method has a very high value. It is not affordable for ordinary masters at all. In combination with kendo, the cosmic law uses secrets. Code, the value is even more expensive, and now I bring you the purple blood secret, which is one of the 3 strongest kendo and cosmic law application secrets recognized by the vast universe. The founder of the Zishua secret is a super strong standing at the top of the universe. Whether he understands kendo or the application of the laws of the universe, he has reached the pinnacle. Let him ask the universe, and the purple blood secret code he left behind, if it is a complete code, I am afraid that even the top supreme will value it, and now what I bring to you is just scrolling, it is better. However, even if it is only the scroll of the purple blood secret, the value is calculated by millions of cosmic source stones. Hearing the words of the 3 wings, Jian Wushuang was a little dazed. Value in millions of cosmic source rocks. Millions of cosmic source stones, even for the supremely powerful, should be a lot of wealth. And some of the weaker, or the poorer, the total net worth is estimated to be only about 1 million source rocks of the universe. In other words, the scroll of the purple blood secret is worth more than all the poor supreme net worth. 3 wings dominate. The scroll of this Zishua secret is too precious. The so-called power is not affected. I am afraid this secret is unacceptable. Jian Wushuang said solemnly. Although the scroll of the Zishua scriptures had a tremendous effect on him, and he did not deny it, he was sincerely eager to get it. But he also knows that in this world there is no pie falling from the sky, and he has not paid anything, just showing some talents. How can he accept such a valuable gift? Xiaoyu doesn't accept it, but is worried that my god's palace will make some demands like Xiaoyu. The 3-wing master is smiling and looking at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang did not answer, but it was considered the default. Haha, don't worry about your friends. Honestly, although the talents of your friends are against the sky, they have also attracted the attention of some high-level powerhouses in the Palace of God, but it's not too much to let me now come out with millions of source stones. The calculation of the Zishua secret came to solicit. The gift I brought today was actually not a direct gift from my divine palace, but an adult from my divine palace, a personal gift. 3 wings dominated the laugh. Private gift. I wonder who it is. Jian Wushuang frowned. Master Xiao, he is a member of the highest level of my god palace, and his strength is the top even among the many strong men in my god palace. Status is much higher than most supreme. 3 wings dominate the road. Xiao Yaoren? I have never seen this Xiao Xiao, and there should be no intersection with me. Why did he personally give me this Zishua secret scroll? Jian Wushuang asked. Xiaoyu, it's not that you and Master Xiao are not in the slightest intersection. You forgot the one who guarded the Sea of Law when you broke into the Sea of Laws in the Bone Pupil Starfield, He is the Master Xiao, and the Sea of Laws is Xiaoyaro Da. A person's consciousness incarnates and defends, and I heard that Lord Xiao has pointed you in the Sea of Rules, said the three-wing master. Is he? Jian Wushuang stunned, even if he understood. Within the rule of law, the old man in Xing Yi told him that his application of the rules of the universe was too rough, and it did give him some pointers. But the former Xiao Xiao just gave him some random instructions, but now, he even gave him such a valuable gift. This is a huge friendship. Chapter 4057. Second more. Little Bloodsword, Master Xiao, let us bring you the scroll of purple blood secret to you, and also let me bring you a word saying that he looks forward to your growth. Three Wings dominated and laughed. Hearing this, the sword had no strange two-sided color, but his heart began to hesitate. If the scroll of the Zishue secret was given to him by the god's palace, there would be no success, and Jian Wushuang would not accept it. But now it is a personal gift from the Xiao Xiao. If he has nothing to do with the Lord Xiao Xiao himself, in fact, when he was in the Sea of Rules, he had already been instructed by this King Xiao Xiao, and it can be said that he had accepted the favor of the other party. Now the other party just gives him a bigger relationship, and it's clear that the other party's gift to him is only casual, and it does not plan his later return. After all, the three-wing masters also said that the Lord Xiao Xiao is the strongest at the highest level of the divine palace. His strength is among the most powerful and extremely powerful, and it is likely to be a top-level supreme. Although he has talents, he is still very weak now. He is as super-existent as Master Xiao. How can he try to reward him like this? That being the case, then please ask Master 3 to thank Master Xiao for me, Jian Wushuang said. When he said this, he obviously accepted the gift. That's right. Three Wings dominated and laughed. Jian Wushuang also smiled slightly, but said secretly in his heart, anyway, the Sea of Rules, I have accepted the favor of the Xiao Xiao, and now it is only a greater affection of him. Reaching the Supreme, you can really reach the top of the vast universe, and naturally you will find a way to pay back, but if you can't reach that step, then I can't help it. Bloodsword little friend, this purple blood secret scripture scroll has been given to you. I will go away and wait for the three of them. Three Wings dominated. Thanks a lot. Jian Wushuang thanked him. Soon the three wings dominated the three and left, and Jian Wushuang returned to the spacecraft. As soon as he returned to the cosmic boat, cold as frost and magic flames greeted him immediately. Fu Jun, what did the master just tell you? Leng Rushuang asked. What Jian Wushuang had just said to the Lord of Three Wings briefly recounted. After listening, both Frosty and Magic Flames were a little faint. Purple blood secrets, secrets counted by million source stones? Cold as Frost was terrified. Million universe source stones, the net worth of a supreme-class strong man, but so is it. Mo Yang also said. The value is amazing, and it was personally given by the Lord Xiao Xiao, and I have no reason to refuse. Jian Wushuangdao. Master, you really don't need to refuse. The vast universe, there are countless powerful people, but those who are on the top, in the process of their rise, how many people have not endured the favors of others? And who has not received anything else? People help. She's alone, she doesn't even have a friend, she still grows up, she does, but she can have a few. What's more, that Lord Xiao is simply optimistic about your potential and looking forward to your growth, and only to give you some help. This is a kind of friendship, but if you have grown up in strength in the future, just give it back to him. Said Mo Yang. I think so too. Jian Wushuang smiled. Stop talking, I will study the Zishue secret first. Cosmic boat, a secret room, Jian Wushuang sat quietly in front of him, and in front of him was the big box, which contained 36 square crystal jade neatly. Jian Wushuang directly picked up the first crystal jade. With the sinking of consciousness, a vast message of information was transmitted to Jian Wushuang in an instant. The message of this first piece of crystal jade is not a combination of the laws of the universe and the origin of kendo, but only some basic and simple applications of the laws of the universe, but even so, Jian Wushuang's head is buzzing, as if he has entered a brand new world. Indeed, as he received the message from the first piece of crystal jade, a brand new door was already in front of him. He didn't know anything about the use of the law of the universe, he just knew that he incorporated the law of the universe into his own attack and enhanced the power of the attack. But now, even if it is just some of the shallowest and simplest applications, it is enough for Jian Wushuang to open it. Time passed, and after half an hour, the two sides of the sword accepted the message in the first crystal jade. After accepting it, he was confused. This is just the first crystal jade, but I can only understand the messages at the beginning, and the application of the rules behind me has made me unable to immediately. Jian Wushuang shook his head, even though he began to accept the second crystal jade's message comes. The second piece of crystal jade has a much larger message, and it was only here that the combination of the laws of the universe and kendo began to be mentioned. It turned out to be a cover. Jian Wushuang suddenly opened his eyes. I always thought that the combination of the laws of the universe and kendo should be divided into primary and secondary. If it is not dominated by the laws of the universe, or it is dominated by kendo, in fact, the laws of the universe and kendo are governed by their own consciousness. The level of sentiment is like the number of an army, and so is kendo, but its own consciousness is definitely this absolute soul, a general-like existence. Consciousness governs the laws of the universe and kendo sentiment. The two are a perfect combination. With a smile on his face, Jian Wushuang continued to accept enlightenment. There are 3 volumes of the Zixue Secret, each of which contains 36 crystal jade pieces, of which 12 crystal jade is a heavy realm, that is, the founder of the Zixue Secret book will the combination of kendo and the laws of the universe is divided into 9 realms. For the first realm alone, Jian Wushuang needs to fully understand the information in the first 12 crystal jade. In fact, the current sword Wushuang even feels very confused about the first crystal jade. I can't understand it, let alone other crystal jades. However, to the sword's unparalleled surprise, this piece of crystal blood jade has divided the application of the laws of the universe with kendo in a very detailed way. It can be said that the entire process of applying the laws of the universe is combined with kendo to completely analyze. This makes Jian Wushuang understand much simpler. Getting started is also much easier. Like the first crystal jade, Jian Wushuang took only 30 years to fully understand it. Then he continued to enlighten the second crystal jade. The second crystal jade took a lot longer than the first one, but it only took less than 200 years. The third piece of crystal jade and sword Wushuang took 600 years in a flash, 30,000 years have passed. Chapter 4058. The first is more. Longshan Xinghe, a galaxy that is wider than Ziwei Xinghe, has more starfields, and is more chaotic. Dragon Shun Xinghanoi also has a large number of star thieves, and its strength is stronger. There are many star thieves dominated by the 4th and 5th ranks. There are even rumors that Dragon Shun Xinghanoi even dominates the ultimate level. Have. Within the galaxy. Kill him. A small second-level master dominates. We would be fine without killing him. How dare he take the initiative to provoke us? Court death. There are hundreds of star robbers, like a wasp killing a man in black at the same time in front of Xinghe. The man in black held the sword in one hand, and his shape turned out. Like a ghost, it appeared strangely among those star thieves. Laugh. 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 The sword shadows seem to be arbitrarily taken out. These sword shadows are not very strong in terms of mere power, but they are abnormal mysteries. The sword shadow was easily chopped on the body of a famous star thief. Those weak first-level or second-level masters could not support a sword at all, so they were directly beheaded and killed, and the body cover was connected. The armor was easily torn apart. Even if the third level dominates, one sword goes down, the treasure armor is torn, and his divine power is instantly killed by annihilation. Although this man in black is only a second-level master, and his outbreak of divine power is only the second-level extreme, but his sword skills, the third-level master, can't resist it. The slaughter is exactly one-sided slaughter. Hundreds of star thieves have been slaughtered for only a few breaths, and only a few star thieves have fled back, seeing the situation is not good. And then, hum, 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 hum. 4 strong breaths abruptly swept away from the distant void. The 4 men, 3 men and 1 woman, all breathed on the 4th level. Leader, leader. Seeing the appearance of the 4, the star thieves who were lucky enough to survive, as if they saw a savior, shouted miserably. These 4 are the leaders of this star thief team. In the Shunhua Xinghe, even a small star thief gang has a 4th rank to dominate the town. Now this star thief has 4 ranks to dominate. A 2nd level master has killed so many of us. He is just a 2nd level master. The outbreak of divine power is only a 2nd level master. But his sword skills cannot even stop the 3rd level master. The Excalibur in his water should be a treasure of the highest quality rules. If one sword goes down, even the strongest treasure can be torn. The 4 leaders who came were extremely cold and stared at Jian Wushuang. Under the cold eyes, they all had the intention of killing. 4 4th level masters. That would take a little bit of hands and feet. Jian Wushuang looked up at the 4 people in front of him, but a smile appeared on his face. This smile is very clear. Suddenly, the sword has no body shape, like a teleportation, it easily crosses the void and appears in front of the 4 leaders. Be careful. All 4 leaders were shocked, because the speed at which Jian Wushuang burst out was very fast. But at the moment they reacted, Jian Wushuang had already sent his sword. Wow! Very ordinary and casual sword. In the eyes of the 4 4th level masters, this sword is even very slow, soft, as if there is no trace of strength. Such a slow sword, let alone the master, I am afraid that even an ordinary ruler may avoid it. However, when the 4 leaders saw the sword unparalleled, and were ready to fight back, they found in horror that their bodies could not move. It's not that it's not moving, it's too slow, slowly, it's just like a snail. Slowly, they can't avoid it at all, and they can't resist the light of the sword that swordsman is waving. It's not that we are too slow, but his swordsmanship, it's too fast. The thoughts immediately appeared in the minds of the 4 leaders. They widened their eyes and watched the slow, soft sword light chop their necks at the same time. The physical power of the arcane warframe of their bodies has been fully activated, protecting them. However, the sword light was cut, and the body's strongest treasure of the highest treasure, even as a piece of paper, was torn directly by your sword light. The sword light continued unabated, and continued to cut to their body. Laugh, 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 laugh. The sound of Jian Feng's body sounding, for huge heads flew up at the same time. The 4 chiefs still carried panic and an incredible amount, they didn't believe it until they died. A 2nd level master, with just 1 sword, instantly killed 4 of them, even their arcane warframe, and their immortal body. No effect. The leader is dead. 1 sword, killed 4 leaders. Escape. The star thieves who were lucky enough to survive were even more frightened. They had been frightened and started fleeing wildly. Jian Wushuang did not go after these people again. The ancient spacecraft stopped in the void beside the sword warrior, cold and frosty, and the magic flame came out of the spacecraft. Fu Jun, your strength is much higher than 30,000 years ago. Lung Rushuang laughed. Only using the divine power of the 2nd ranking master, 1 sword will kill 4 4th ranking masters. Master your strength. The magic flame was also extremely amazed. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. Dominate the combat power with the 2nd rank, kill 4 4th rank dominators with 1 sword. In fact, this is nothing. You must know that Jian Wushuang has the 5th rank power early on. Even killed Lei Stella, the 5th level master. However, the reason why Jian Wushuang has that kind of combat power is that the digital display is because his own divine power is extremely powerful, comparable to the divine power dominated by the 3rd rank, coupled with the will power given by the laws of the universe, and the power of life and power. The 2 mysteries of the heavenly art, this makes him no worse than any 4th level master in power. But this time, whether he slaughtered the star thieves or killed the 4 4th level masters with 1 sword, his divine power has always been controlled at the 2nd level, and he never used the one given by the laws of the universe. Willpower. In other words, he used the power of an ordinary 2nd series to dominate, and purely relied on his own swordsmanship, as well as his perception and application of the laws of the universe, to kill the 4/4 series dominates. If this step was placed 30,000 years ago, Zhen Wushuang would definitely not be able to do it, but with his understanding of the Zixue secret, the application of the laws of the universe has continued to increase in recent years, and combined with swordplay, his swordplay has been brought into play. More delicate and terrible than the original, several times or nearly 10 times. Only then can he do this. Chapter 4059. Two more arrived today. Fu Jun, the Zixue secret comes first. Have you ever mastered it? Leng Rushuang asked. How easy is that? Zhen Wushuang shook his head and smiled. The Zixue secret scrolls the triple realm. The first realm needs to fully understand the first 12 crystal jade, and in these 30,000 years, Zhen Wushuang has understood the first 10 crystal jade. The 11th piece of jade is completely close, but the 12th piece of jade is far away. But this purple blood secret is really magical. I only understand the top 10 crystal jade. The application of the law of the universe is still in the basic stage, but the combination of the application of the law of the universe and swordplay has made my swordplay more sophisticated than before as much as 10 times. The power is much stronger. In addition, my improved use of the laws of the universe has actually brought me a new level of mastery of the Wu Weeping Sword. The sword's eyes were shining with a strong light. Wu Wei's divine sword is a top-class rule, and this level of rule is extremely important. However, although Zhen Wushuang had comprehended the laws of the universe, he only barely exerted a little power of the Wu Cry Excalibur, but now, with the improvement of his understanding of the laws of the universe, the most important thing is to deepen the application of the laws of the universe. He can already exert the higher power of Wu Cry Excalibur. Because of this, just when he fought with those star thieves, Wu Weeping Sword was chopped on the opponent's body, and the treasured armor of the opponent's body couldn't bear it either directly or it was torn apart. Only the strongest treasures of the treasure level cannot resist the attack of the treasure of the superior rule at all. My application of the laws of the universe is still very low now. When I fully understand the first 12 crystal jade and reach the first realm of the purple blood secret, I am afraid there will still be a big improvement in my strength. Sword Warrior's Secret Road. Of course he also knew that he was still a step away. Let's continue to smash. This dragon Shunxing Hanoi has countless star theft. There are many strong, but it is just for me as a training experience. Zhen Wushuang smiled. The spacecraft continued to glide towards the end of Xinghe. Dragon Shunxing Hanoi has numerous star thefts, and Zhen Wushuang completely treats them as experienced opponents. Every time he encounters the Star Thief gang, he will kill directly and defeat the other side. And when those star thieves fight, Zhen Wushuang will not directly leak his strongest strength, but will deliberately maintain his own divine power, and will dominate the power with a normal second level, relying on swordsmanship and the laws of the universe use, and fight with these star thieves. But even so, the ordinary star thief gang still can't stop Zhen Wushuang. Even if it is dominated by the 4th grade, Zhen Wushuang can easily kill. 200 years passed quickly. In the Longshan starfield, a bald old man stood in front of Zhen Wushuang, and around the two, there were a large number of star thief corpses. These star thieves were just slaughtered by Zhen Wushuang relentlessly. But it was only because of the slaughter that he led the bald old man out. You are the blood sword. The bald old man stared coldly, staring at the sword unparalleled. Blood sword, this is the fame that Zhen Wushuang reported himself. For nearly hundreds of years, the name of the blood sword was very loud in Dragon Shunxing Hanoi. The reason for this is because during this short period of hundreds of years, the number of star thieves slaughtered by Zhen Wushuang did not know how many, and the forces of star thieves were also destroyed by Zhen Wushuang a lot. And he also took the spacecraft and repeatedly took the initiative to kill those star thieves. You know, the star thieves in the galaxy are not stupid. Under normal circumstances, they do not dare to proactively see the spacecraft, and as long as the star thieves do not actively provoke them, the strong men in the spacecraft will not bother to care about these stars. Steel. But this blood sword is different. Even if the star thieves did not take the initiative to provoke him, he would still go directly to the door and kill the star thieves for no reason. This behavior is obviously a trial of the star thieves. stone. Most importantly, he is only just a second-level master. It is difficult to stay in the spotlight in Long Chen Xing Hanoi. Who are you? Jian Wushuang also looked at the bald old man in front of him. Maud Ancestor, said the bald old man. Sorry, never heard of it, Jian Wushuang said. It doesn't matter if you haven't heard it, you just need to remember the name, because you will soon die in his hands. Mo Hong Ancestor said. Oh. Very confident. Jian Wushuang smiled oddly. Huh. The bald old man hummed coldly, followed by a big hand wave, buzzing. I saw a stream of black light quickly condensing in front of him, and in the blink of an eye formed a black 3-meter sword. As soon as the black Excalibur took shape, a vast black power burst out, and the entire galaxy was swept by this dark force, and became completely dim. Sword array? Jian Wushuang frowned. A 5th-level master, seeing me casting a sword array without saying a word, is really worthy of me. Jian Wushuang chuckled, and Wu Wei's Excalibur had already appeared in his hands, and his body also had a strong not weak breath rises. After all, the opponent is the real 5th-level master. Jian Wushuang naturally cannot conceal his strength in order to hone as before, and retain the power of divine power. At the beginning, Jian Wushuang intends to shoot with all his strength. However, the moment the black Excalibur took shape and burst directly at him, Jian's eyes and pupils shrank sharply. He stared at the black Excalibur galloping forward. Among the black Excalibur, the strongest element contained was the power of the Dark Rule. The entire sword array itself was dominated by the Dark Rule. The other major rules were complement each other. But at the moment, Jian Wushuang saw something very subtle in this black divine sword. These things are insignificant, but Jian Wushuang noticed it. And for a moment, Jian Wushuang's mind had some more enlightenment. Is that so? Darkness, essence, details. There was a strong ecstasy in the eyes of Jian Wushuang, but he returned ecstatically, and the black Excalibur galloped without mercy. The endless dark carrier had a tremendous power. In a blink of an eye, he rapped the sword unparalleled. Boom! A violent roar, a large amount of dark air smashed frantically with the sword. In this endless darkness, a silhouette stormed out. This figure is the sword Wushuang, who was repelled by the black divine sword. At the moment, although his figure is a little embarrassed, the breath on his body has not weakened at all. And the ecstasy in his eyes did not decrease at all, but was even more intense. Chapter 40-60. The first is more. So it is, the trace I have been missing before is just a trace of the essence of the Dark Rule. Jian Wushuang was extremely excited. Dark rules, fusion. The power of a large number of rules on Jian Wushuang rises up, including the rich dark rules, and in the blink of an eye, the power of these rules is all blended together, extremely perfect. At this moment, the swordless twins were all shocked, and their deities, including their own divine power, began to transform instantly. Okay. Mo Hong's ancestor stood in the void in front of Jian Wushuang, but the black divine sword still hovered in front of him with a shocking breath, but Mo Hong's ancestor was already frowning at this moment. I didn't hurt him in that blow, and the breath on his body. Mo Hong's ancestor was a 5th-level master, and his keen perception was so obvious that he could see the sword Wushuang at this moment. It's different. The breath of divine power alone has improved a lot compared to before. Did you break it? Mo Hong's ancestor murmured. Indeed, the current sword is unparalleled, and the breath emanating from his body has reached the 3rd-level dominating level. After taking control of the heavenly will of the gods in the early days, he realized tens of thousands of years. Jian Wushuang finally perfectly integrated the dark rules of the 6th rule, and his own realm also smoothly climbed to the 3rd level. Fu Jun, the host. In the cosmic boat not far away from the sky, the cold and frost and magic flames that have been paying attention to this scene have also noticed the changes in Jian Wushuang's body. Mo Hong, the ancestor, I have to thank you. If it were not for the dark sword array you just cast, I would like to incorporate the 6th rule. I'm afraid it will take a lot of time. Jian Wushuang looked at Mo Hong with a smile. What if you break it? You still have to die. But Mo Hong's ancestor uttered a cold hum, the black divine sword hovering quietly in front of him, and a whine appeared again like a phantom in Jian Wushuang before. A sharp breath of Xion came through, and the power of this black Excalibur was obviously stronger than before. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. He has already broken through, naturally did not want to waste time with this Mohong ancestor. I saw Jian Wushuang holding up the Wu-crying Excalibur in his hand, and a vast divine power was instilled directly into the Excalibur. Although he is dominated by the 3rd level, but because of the perfect level of life, his divine power is already at the 4th level, plus the will power given by the laws of the universe, as well as the power of life and decisive spells. The two mysteries make the sword Wushuang the sword purely in divine power, which is no weaker than any 5th level master. In other words, Jian Wushuang also cast this sword with the power of the 5th grade. We must know that Jian Wushuang understands the laws of the universe, and even uses them in combination with his swordsmanship. This is impossible to imagine in the 5th series. As a result, a funny scene appeared. Jian Wushuang just raised the long sword in his hand and simply slashed out. He did not perform any great swordsmanship at all, but just slashed the sword at will. It feels as if adults are teaching their children. It's simple. Crazy. Even Mohong's ancestor couldn't help anger. But as the Wu weeping sword split on the black exalted sword, the power of terror broke out. The black Excalibur sword formation, which was dominated by Mohong's ancestors with the 5th rank, was actually any ability to resist, and it collapsed directly into the sky and the black light dissipated. The sword of Wushuang continued to simply and violently hack at Mohong's ancestor. How is that possible? Mohong's ancestor glared, but Zhen Guang had already split on his head. The Mohong ancestor's body surface also has the strongest armor of the treasure, but after Zhen Guang split, his armor of the treasure shook slightly and there was no damage, but most of the power in the sword was directly passed through the armor to the body of Mohong's ancestor. This powerful force is outrageous, and Mohong's ancestor's own deity is not very strong, which causes Mohong's ancestor's body to be smashed directly into the sky at this moment. In just a moment, the body of Mohong's ancestor was reorganized again. After being reorganized, he did not look at Jian Wushuang anymore, but immediately a large amount of black light emerged from his body, and he turned into a black horror, fleeing to the back in the sky with a crazy speed. Mohong, ancestor. No way, he had to escape. With just one sword, Jian Wushuang's horrible strength revealed completely scared his gall. 70%. My divine power was suddenly annihilated by 70%. Mohong's ancestors were trembling as they fled. Jian Wushuang's simple and rude, seemingly an adult bullying a child, not only defeated his sword array in an instant, but also bombarded his body, smashed his body, and then killed him in full. Into the divine power. How terrible is the power of this sword? Mohong's ancestors don't know, but Mohong's ancestors know very well that with such a sword, once again, he will certainly die. So he can only flee wildly. Seeing him running away, Jian Wushuang did not go hunting again. Looking at your help to break through, I will spare you my life. Jian Wushuang's voice sounded in Mohong's ear. Mohong's ancestors were relieved, but escaped this void as quickly as possible, and soon disappeared in front of Jian Wushuang. The ancient spacecraft came to Jian Wushuang, and Jian Wushuang swept directly into the spacecraft. Congratulations, husband. Lung Wushuang laughed. Master, congratulations, Mo Yang also said. Ha. Jian Wushuang smiled brightly, and he was very happy. It is a huge leap for him to integrate the 6th rule and break through to reach the 3rd level. Naturally, his own strength will also change dramatically. The power of divine power alone has increased a lot, and as the realm gets higher and higher, he can learn a lot faster whether he is enlightened on Kendo or the law of the universe. Master, you can kill the 5th level master at the 2nd level. Now you have not only got the scroll of purple blood secret, but you have also reached the 3rd level. Then your current combat power is at the 1st level. Among the 5th level masters, should be invincible, right? Mo Yang looked over. I don't know if there is invincibility in the 5th level of domination, but I dare say that the entire vast universe, except for those who have the same innate advantages as me or have the opportunity to oppose the sky among the masters, There should be few better than me. Jian Wushuang said, "You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.